I have hit a completely different level. I am allowing my burning desires to exist publicly without. If you have big vision, big dreams, adversity is step 2. Most people get hyped for a second, encounter resistance, and then just go, I'm going to go back to what I did before. It was easier, it was less stressful. Burning desire is 10,000 tries to create the light bulb. We're trying to force the conscious mind to brainwash the subconscious mind. If you say it enough, eventually your subconscious mind is going to go, okay, this is serious. So this venue has a ton of sentimental value. 3.5 years ago, actually it was a little bit more than 3.5 years ago, before COVID hit, I attended one of my first personal development workshops at this specific venue. And, you know, Dave Bruno and I were talking yesterday about Brendan Burchard, you know, someone who had a huge impact on my life. That was actually technically the first workshop I ever attended regarding personal development. It changed my life. I was in a room of people all wanting to better themselves. So the business side of me went, holy shit, there's a business model here. Why are there like 1,500 people in a room jumping around chanting to themselves, right? But at the same time, for the first time in my life, I felt not alone. I felt that this covert desire I've had to better myself, which led to me reading so many books and studying personal development, for the first time I was in a room of people that shared that. And I didn't feel like the only person thinking that way for literally the first time in my life. And I became addicted to personal development workshops and eventually found this guy, Grant Cardone. And Grant's office is like less than a mile from here. I've actually spent a lot of time at Grant's office. He personally mentored me for almost 2 years before he kind of, really, really blew up. And he started doing workshops at this specific venue. And I remember I told my wife last minute, I'm attending this workshop. I literally bought the ticket the night before and flew out the next day. And I didn't even have time to pack. So all I had was like this little notebook. So I walk literally into this venue, right down this hall. This is where the VIP lunch was. And in that room over there was where I learned how to do my first webinar. I didn't really learn how to do it. I actually just saw the outcome that Grant was having from webinars, right? Isn't that interesting? He didn't teach me how to do webinars. I just saw the outcome he was getting, and that inspired me enough to go, oh, I want that outcome, right? So I figured out how to do webinars, right? So when I left this venue, COVID hit, and that's when I did my first webinar, right? We can't connect the dots looking forwards. We can only connect them looking backwards. So at that time, I didn't know COVID was going to hit, right? So I walk out this venue, and COVID hits, and I think, is this an adversity or an opportunity? And then I did my first webinar, and my entire life changed. And I had to do it at this venue because, it's crazy how the tables have turned, where I was one in a group of 200 people, and now we're holding our own event. And it's only been 3.5 years. So I wanted to share that as kind of an opening because there's this concept I want to first hit on, and that's the concept of burning desire. So I want to ask everyone, how many of you have read, raise of hands, the book Think and Grow Rich? Okay. It's about half the room, okay? And as most of you know, if you've attended one event of ours, I actually just put together a top 50 books reading list, which I haven't announced yet, which took months of me deciding what's number one, what's number two. So Think and Grow Rich ended up being my number one book of any book I've ever read. And again, I put months of thought into this. And I've read probably 1,000 books. And the reason is because the book is, I believe, the most objective study of success-mindedness. What does that mean, right? Well, the book breaks down the principles The book is called Think and Grow Rich, right? Since this book was released around the Great Depression, around that time era, people were struggling financially. And this book blew up. It was really the first organized set of principles around wealth creation, right? And the way that this book was created was interviewing and spending time with 500 of the most wealthy people in the world, right? And studying what makes these people different from the rest of the people who always tend to reach their goals and never seem to struggle and seem to get what they want. And in the book, I've probably read this book, I don't know, at this point in my life, 30 times I probably read the book. And in the book, it keeps saying, in this book, the key master secret will stick out to you. Through the words of this book, you will see the master key to success. You will see it when you are ready to receive it, right? And this is a book I've read 30 times. You think I would have been ready to receive it, right? After doing it 30 freaking times, right? Well, I read the book again. And this was about a week ago. It was actually last weekend. And when I read the book again, the master key appeared itself. And I know that sounds woo-woo, but it appeared itself in a way I've never seen it so clearly right in front of my eyes. And the reason that it stood out so clearly is because I had just read, a lot of you know this from the weekly sessions, I had just read the Elon biography. That's actually in my top 10 list of all books I've ever read in my life, by Walter Isaacson. And then right after that, I realized I didn't really fully read the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. So then right after that, I read the whole Steve Jobs biography. And then right after that, I rewatched that Arnold documentary. Anyone ever hear that on Netflix where there's like 3 chapters? It shows chapter number 1, how he became best bodybuilder in the world, then he became best actor, and then he became politician, right? In 3 chapters. And I rewatched that, and then I rewatched this other documentary, and I know he's kind of gone off the deep end a bit, but it's a Kanye documentary. And holy crap. Yes, he went off the deep end. I mean, he was in a mental institution for quite some time during, his breakdown and his life kind of falling into shambles after his mom passed. But holy crap, I saw the master key in the Arnold documentary. I saw the master key in the Elon biography. I saw the master key in the Steve Jobs biography. And I saw the master key in the Kanye documentary. The master key is the separator, okay? And that master key is burning desire. Now, burning desire is this feeling of I am going to get whatever I set my mind to. All autobiographies follow the same trend, right? There's someone with a dream, there's someone who then hits adversity, and then there's someone who then persists through the adversity until they get what they want. Right? And Steve Jobs didn't go, let's have a board meeting and let's get buy-in around the iPhone, everyone. Let's all agree on what the right iPhone should look like. No. He said, there's going to be no buttons on the phone. All of his engineers complained, that's impossible. The BlackBerry is the leading phone. Everyone has buttons. What are you talking about? I don't freaking care. We are going to have no buttons on the phone. What do you think people did? Some people complained. Eventually, he had to fire people who weren't on board with that. And after years of R&D and innovation, boom, now most of our phones do not have buttons on them. 99% of phones. Right? They have digital interfaces. That same exact thing happened in Think and Grow Rich with Henry Ford. These are all, this is it. Henry Ford said, we're gonna have a V8 engine. It's happening. He went to his engineers. He said, I'm giving you 6 months to figure this out. His engineer said, oh, no, Mr. Ford, this is impossible, da-da-da-da. Okay, figure it out. Comes back 6 months later, no progress. What does he say? Nope, I'll get what I want. Another 6 months, go. Comes back another 6 months. What do you think happened? Nothing. Comes back again. Says, what's the progress here? Nothing, it's really complicated. Great, I'll have what I want. Another 6 months. Another 6 months passed. Did anything happen? No. Comes back, goes, I'll have what I want. Keep going. And a month later, after the third 6-month batch, they invent the V8 engine. Okay, Thomas Edison had 10,000 iterations, not failures. That's persistence. Who was the guy that created the wireless communication? I forget. Who? Yeah, Marconi. Anyone know where Marconi was put? When he told his friends, I found a way to communicate with no wires through the air. Coast to coast. Does anyone know where he was put legitimately? His friends had him put in a mental institution. No joke. But he persisted. And now our entire world is dominated by the Ethernet, right? That same principle, I have goosebumps, is literally what Elon did with Tesla. He willed a mass-produced electric car into existence. If you read these trends, it's not pretty. Innovation and claiming what you want is not pretty. It's not all happy high fives and woohoo and pats on the back. Okay? It's hard. And then I look at the Kanye documentary, and it just blew my mind. This guy, when he had no car, couldn't afford a car, he was walking to a train every day for work. And he was reciting his Grammy speech. One time he was interrupted by someone, and they said, what are you saying? He's like, oh, I'm practicing my Grammy speech. Had no money. Didn't have a car. And one of his friends, Cootie, his name is, starts following him around and says, if this guy is this committed, when he is nothing, he's gonna be a superstar. And his friend starts following him around and filming him for years. And that's what this documentary is. Literally, you watch Kanye break into Jay-Z's record studio, Rockefeller Records, breaks in, and starts playing music to executive assistants in there, A&R, all the people in the music offices of Rockefeller Records. What do you think people are doing? They're multitasking. Who's this guy playing, through the wire, through the limit to the wall. Okay, this other song he plays, when the radio, when it all falls down. You guys know that song? Okay. Jesus Walks. These are Grammy award-winning songs, okay? He won Best Artist, he won Best Rap Album, he won #1 in all the Grammys. And the songs he was playing to people who were dismissing him in that office that day, there's film of this. He's playing it on the thing, he's like, isn't this awesome? And everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm in the middle of taking phone calls right now. Get away. 1 Grammys. Burning desire. It's this edge that I see what the outcome is going to be, and come hell or high water, nothing is going to stop me from this. He was known as a producer at one part of his career. He hated that. He said, I'm not a producer, I'm a rapper now. Everyone said, oh, Kanye, one of the best producers ever. He's like, dude, stop calling me a producer. He freaks out in Jay-Z's, in this backstage thing with Jay-Z and all of his people. And he goes, stop calling me. Everyone's like, dude, why are you so high strung, Kanye? He's like, stop calling me a producer. I don't want to be called number one producer. If I'm 50th place as a rapper right now, call me a rapper and call me 50th place. I'm not a producer, though. He was speaking his new identity into existence. The same thing Arnold did. He spoke his new identity after bodybuilding into existence. He entered with, I'm going to be the number one movie actor in the world. And he didn't just say that once. He didn't just create a vivid vision and then go, well, my job's done. Right? No. This is an emotional commitment. This is an edge. And the reason I wanted to start with this is because recently I have hit a completely different level in my own life. I have unleashed recently. And part of this, looking back, we can't connect the dots looking forward, only looking backwards, is I am allowing my burning desires to exist publicly without criticizing myself. I spent 5 years justifying to myself, oh, am I being too this? And then we read all these leadership books that tell us we need to be more emotionally intelligent and all this stuff. And I put myself in a box. I started operating too structured. I started being disciplined and productive in my calendar. And I killed the killer in me, right? And I just want to share that because in 2024, I want all of us to feel on fire. You have nothing to apologize for being ambitious. You have nothing to apologize for. Expect adversity. If you have big vision, big dreams, adversity is step 2. You hear what I'm saying here? That's a step. Vision is not the only step. The next step is a whole world of hurt and resistance. That's just the marketplace testing you. Are you really serious about this? Because most people get hyped for a second, encounter resistance, and then just go, oh, I'm going to go back to what I did before. It was easier, it was less stressful. That ain't burning desire. Burning desire is 10,000 tries to create the light bulb. That's it. He would have died creating that light bulb, even if he didn't. That's burning desire. So, what does this tie into before we go into this vivid vision section? So, what this ties into is your belief lid. Your what? Someone repeat back to me. What did I say? Belief lid. Belief lid, right? John Maxwell has this concept called the leadership lid. And it's in his book, The 21 Laws of Leadership, Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And the law of the lid says that a business will not expand past the lid of the leader. Your life, any area of your life, will not expand past your belief lid. Right? So whether that's for your health, everyone has this humming in the background lid. I think this is only what's possible for me lid. In every area. Right? I think this is my health lid. I can't really get in shape because that's my lid right there. I don't see that other identity. I don't see that other side of me in health. Therefore, ding, we hit a lid. Right? We have that in our financials. How many of you think $100 million is a lot of money? Raise of hands. Good. I don't. Okay? Apple's a $3 trillion company. So I have a different lid there. Right? So when you see SMB go from 0 to multiple 8 figures in a very short time window, it's because my lid is always telling myself this is nothing. This is all just training ground for the future. This is all just, doing some sparring. That's my belief. I don't feel I've arrived. I don't feel that I'm even close to my lid, right? Now, how does that happen? Well, there's really two things how to expand it. Number one is auto-suggestion, and number two is who. So auto-suggestion I've talked about a lot. Are you reciting to yourself every single day, outwardly, through writing and verbalization, where you will be in definite emotional language, not in timid, maybe this will happen language, in definite emotional language. Emotional language, what's that? It means that what you say, you feel as you say it. You've emotionalized your words. A goal without emotion is a hope. I agree. A goal without emotion is a hope. If you emotionalize the goal, and when you repeat it to yourself, I will have X by this date. This is what I do. It's why I'm so happy. I have a 15-minute drive to my office now that we moved into a house. I have a 15-minute drive. I'm so grateful that I have this 15-minute drive because it's extended. I usually would only spend 5 minutes on affirmations in the morning before I had a 15-minute commute. Now I get to spend 15 minutes every single morning reciting my goals to myself, re-reciting them. And now I keep reciting them, and I don't let myself BS the goal. If I have a health goal, my next health goal is 10% body fat. I have that health goal. I will repeat that to myself until I felt it. It might take 6 times that morning. But until I feel, oh, I said it like I had it. Right? The second is who. So auto-suggestion. What can you commit to for 2024 to bring front and center a future desired state and to act on that through auto-suggestion? Right? We're trying to force the conscious mind to brainwash the subconscious mind. The conscious mind to brainwash the subconscious mind. Think about that. If you say it enough, eventually, your subconscious mind is going to go, okay, this is serious. Now, once it becomes your subconscious mind, what does that relate to? Your lid. Your lid is your subconscious mind. It's what you believe you're capable of, right? So, let's go to who. Because I have, and I've been saying some confident phrases to Emily recently, I am an excellent CEO. That's something I said to her recently, right? And when I say a statement like that, eventually it infects me in a good way, right? And I start actually embodying behaviors like that, right? And the who category relates directly to your lid. So, example, myself and this guy, Dave, both won Entrepreneur of the Year finalist in Philadelphia. And he actually was like the head honcho. He runs a $300 million company. He actually won like the mega award of Entrepreneur of the Year. So there was like 15 entrepreneurs selected for this in the greater Philadelphia area, which is basically most of Jersey, the whole eastern side of Pennsylvania, and then Delaware. And after that event, I cold called the guy. I said, I want to meet with you. What do I need to do? Then he didn't respond. Then I said, hey, man, we're going to meet. I need to learn from you. And he didn't respond. And then I did it again. He said, okay, we're going to get lunch. And now every single month I've gotten lunch with a $300 million CEO. His net worth has got to be $1 billion with the EBITDA that his company has and all recurring revenue. Now, why did I share that as part of Belief Lid? Because auto-suggestion only works to the extent that you surround yourself with people who have those same auto-suggestions, those same beliefs. Both must exist. I am always surrounding myself with people who challenge me. That's part of the reason I read books. That's another who to me. Right? I'm reading, I'm trying to absorb myself in how did Steve Jobs think? I'm trying to make that desensitized to me so I don't feel like, well, that's big or too big for me. Right? That's another who. Books are who's. Right? In-person mentorship is a who. Right? So I reached out to a $500 million CEO, separate from this other guy, and I met with him every single week for the last, I don't even know, it's been 6 months, every single week. That's because I reached out. That's because I believe I am onto something. I believe where I am going so much that the people I reach out to go, I guess I got to meet with this guy. Because my belief is so freaking high, like I'm not going to let you say no. Right? That's burning desire. So there's someone in your market that you're not reaching out to. Who can you reach out to? Who scares you? There's someone in your practice area who's done what you want to do that you're not close with. Right? This is high priority. I would cancel a client meeting where you're going to get a couple $1,000 or whatever from that. I would cancel a client meeting to meet with someone who's where you want to be. That's higher priority.